Um, it'll give you a little bit of insight to the rib cage and
Yeah.
the thoracic cage and stuff like that.
Definitely.
Um, I see a ton of ribs injuries. You would think that like I wouldn't see it as a chiropractor, but again, as a sports chiropractor, I see a lot of jiu-jitsu guys. If you know much about like these striking sports, there's a lot of injury and not necessarily just striking in general, but like a lot of pressure onto the rib cage, a lot of sit-ups, a lot of violent sit-ups.
Yeah.
So a lot of people get a lot of these issues right through the costocartilage. So the reason I believe you're actually at the lower. Most of the time, I see it like up through here.
Okay.
I see the injuries like right up in like right under the breastbone, like right through like you know how when people
Yeah.
like stick your ribs out like right there. Most people feel it because it's more
okay.
superficial. It's closer to that area. Usually, you don't see it as deep,
Yeah.
but you feel like right there.
Yeah.
So basically, if we click on the rib, it's really nice to say, here's the whole rib, right? Like,
Yeah.
but you also have like if I had to choose, I think you hurt like the ninth rib, ninth and 10th rib,
Yeah.
maybe the eighth. You know,
Yeah.
you have a couple because it's like this big, so you probably have like a couple areas that's like in between there.
Yeah.
So it's probably between the eighth and ninth rib, maybe the 10th. I would say more the eighth and ninth, to be honest.
Yeah.
But if you kind of click on the whole rib itself, it's not very accurate. But if you see here's the rib, and then right here you see these little how it like changes color right there.
Yeah.
That is actually because the rib starts to become cartilaginous, like right through here. So that's why if you poke on your rib on the side here, you can actually feel like it's pretty bony, and then you feel here it's kind of like a little squishy, right? Like right through here, it's got a layer of cartilage called the costocartilage. And a lot of times that can be the source of the pop or the irritation. And ask me why people have a pop there. I still don't necessarily know. I've had a pop there. I've heard it there. I felt it. And I think it's just maybe the cartilage getting disrupted. I have also heard in my career, like me do like arm releases and shoulder releases in the muscle. And you hear it. And like the scar tissue or the adhesions release. So maybe there's enough pressure and tension that just built up between the belt buckle and the load and the weight that you carried, and it was like, or it snapped right across.
So
belt.
what? So let me ask you this: if I had like, if I were to just not even see you and I like went and just like took a month off, would it heal on its own?
It can definitely heal on its own.
Or would it heal incorrectly maybe?
I don't know if it would heal incorrectly. But what you'll start noticing is like that bump that you have there. It is a little bit larger than what I normally see. Usually I see like almost like a pebble side. You have kind of like a rock size.
Yeah.
So it's almost like like a thumb.
Instead of
It's like a
pinky.
thumb. It's like a thumb size versus like a pinky, like finger size.
Okay.
I usually see something like this big, like almost
Okay.
like a gravel size nodule in there.
Yeah, this one's a little bit.
That is a little bit larger. It's probably like maybe like the size of a dime or a nickel, right? What you will still feel whether you come here or not is at some point in time that gravel sized ball should get a little smaller, a little smaller, a little smaller. Will it ever 100% go away? Probably not 100%, but like 98% of it will.
Okay.
What we're really concerned about is the glide and slide of the tissues that occur across that.
Yeah.
And I think that by working that, I've just noticed because I've popped a lot of my ribs and I see a lot of guys who do this, that when you get treatment, it'll accelerate a little bit of your recovery and you'll just feel a little bit more comfortable.
Definitely.
And what I noticed is that like when we work this stuff down, like this thing really just feels a lot more comfortable, even almost instantaneously.
Okay.
And I'll give you some things that you can do at home for sure that will help you. Like I'm not all about like, hey, just come here, and not learn something about your body and not actually be able to apply it. Because if I give you the best treatment in the world and then you go outside and you just kind of don't do anything for it, it's like, well, what's the point?
Yeah, you're just gonna end up back here.
Or you're just
Even worse,
or you're never gonna get better.
Yeah.
When you have rib strains and rib issues, there are muscles in the back that, as you can tell, the rib is a cage. It wraps around, and you will notice that like this, I will get a little bit more tight, hypertonic, deep breaths. A lot of times, people will feel that referral pain right back to like this area, which is what I felt in that area. Like it's just thickened. Usually opposite side rotation is the worst. Why would opposite side be worse, right? It's because there's certain muscles that attach called the multifidi. Let me show you. Multifidi and rotatories.
For those muscles.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you. They're the deepest layers, by the way. So here's the external oblique, by the way. So this is why a lot of times people feel like that pain that kind of like fans outward is because of that. But here's multifidus right there.
Yeah.
And so these muscles span 3 to 4 on average, 3 to 4 regions on, and they attach pretty much from the spine to the rib itself. So they kind of overlap the rib a little bit like this. They have a little bit more of an oblique kind of looking, like a little bit more this direction, and then they do like 3 to 4. So they're pretty much like 3 to 4 segments. The rotatories are underneath that by definition. I don't even know if this will show it. They're even smaller. Oh wait, this should be it.
Yeah.
So they're even shorter, and they span. They run, instead of it running more like this and going 3 to 4, they run a little smaller and do that. So that's why they're really responsible for rotation. The last guy who just banged up his ribs, we just did a lot of this work.
Okay.
I'll tell you what you can do to help relieve some of the pain, and some things that you can do at home as well to help this, and then I'll give you some stretches or exercises. Typically stretching the cage does not feel very good. You already knew that before you came in here.
Yeah.
So anything that increases your symptoms, call it out right now. Any questions on that?
No, yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Cool. So what I'll do is we